What is going on, everyone? My name's Boyd, and I'm back with some more Age Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the red color, playing as Poseidon. His name is Mariano. His opponent today in the blue color with the most exceptionally good looks I have ever seen is Chrono JJ's name, and he's playing Ra. The map is Alfheim, and this is the Challengers League. Unfortunately, Chrono JJ did not make the cut for the Champions League. He is not what he used to be, and I mean that is what it is. Some days you are great, and other days you are not great. And unfortunately, 2004, 2005 was Chrono JJ's glory days, and having a wife, having kids just tends to tank your rating points quite significantly, as it were. But it is time to watch him play. He's got some tricks up his sleeve, so we'll see if he can pull them out in this game. Now, for those of you playing at home, we have actually finally come up with a way that the relegations will be working. So keep your eyes peeled on the Discord. We're going to be announcing that, but effectively, there's going to be 4 spots that will be potentially relegated. So the challengers do get an opportunity if you become one of those top 4 spots to face the champions in the relegations to get a spot in the Champions League next season. So all of these training games leading up to those hype relegation games will be very, very exciting. Mariano, on the other hand, very, very strong player from the extended edition, been playing with ATB, which I believe is all-time best for the past RTSL season, playing extremely well at a very high level in those team games. So we'll see if you can translate that into the 1v1s and on the Vibli patch, very different to the extended edition patch. So lots of different balance situations and gods that are strong and gods which are weak. But we do see the Poseidon here into the Ra mirror. So it is an interesting matchup. I love Poseidon versus Ra. I think it's one of the more balanced matchups because the early game is fairly balanced in that Ra can kind of deal with Greek early pressure with shifting sands. The Jason, the Theseus is early pressure is not so much of an issue because you can shifting sands them into the box and kill them. Alternatively, you can go Bast and get out some Sphinx to force those heroes to be chasing the Sphinx around, defending their villages rather than attacking your villages. Beyond that, the Heroic Age is also very balanced. Nemean Lions, very hard for Ra to deal with. Rocks, very hard for Pitsukos, very hard for the Poseidon to deal with, so it becomes pretty even. You also have the Locust, which can do a lot of damage. And you also have Camelry that kind of deal with the Hippocon, and Hippocon also kind of deal with the Camelry because they're kind of the same unit in a way. And then finally the late game comes around. You're like, well, Egyptian late game's bonkers, but so is Greek late game. And then on top of that, Poseidon has this crazy bonus of militia, which kind of equate to mercenary. So in a way, they kind of equate to mercenary in a way. They're very cheap mercenary, but they cost a population and etc. And they have no train time, but if your opponent doesn't kill your buildings, you don't get them. So they kind of equate to it's a mercenary. So super interesting. We'll see. It's very much a skill matchup, so we'll see who can come out in front and what Mariano is going to be going for. Already 6 villages on wood here. He's got 10 villages on food. And it's a little bit of a late advance time here for Mariano. So I'm interested to see where he goes for this. Generally speaking, you're aiming for a 430 here. Maybe the food situation wasn't so good for him. He's had to build two granaries, and Poseidon generally only builds the 1 granary and wants to go on to the lured animals a little bit later before moving out because it saves him so much resource. We're also seeing an early Theseus here going for a 520 or 522 advance time, and Chrono JJ on the other hand already going through Bast. Double monument here, so he's going for those Sphinx. He's got a lot of food here, so it's not a bad idea. But I think that Mariano is playing around this wonderfully by going so late to the classical age and also not eating these elks. So he's kind of maybe thought that this is what was coming. He thought kind of playing around the the Bast here. We see a Pharaoh moving forward, the Sphinx coming through. If Chrono JJ is going for a relic or something, let me see where this is going. Moving forward, no, he's going to be using it to harass, so he has to get hands of the Pharaoh if he wants to do anything, because it does have that 50% reduction in damage. But all these villagers here from Mariana are going to be retreating backwards on going for a town center here. He hasn't got his Hippolyta out. The Sphinx coming down, the Pharaoh checking on this location will be able to attack this villager here for the time being. And the town center is going to be going up here. Centaur's already out. We only have, what is this, one Sphinx out? Where's the other Sphinx? Chrono JJ gets his second Sphinx out very, very late. And the Sphinx coming in. Theseus here to defend. Going to be bashing away at this location. Oh, there's Sphinx here, but it's going to be losing it. The Centaur does so much damage, and the Theseus got so many free hits. Going to have to retreat that one there. Where's the Pharaoh gone? The Pharaoh's running around here. Going to be trying to hit this gold mine. Can passive stance here and harass this for a very, very long time. We'll see if that's what he's going to go for. He's not hit passive stance yet. The Pharaoh kind of going to be chased around, and still no hands of the Pharaoh here, so it's still not going to be doing too much. The Sphinx does fall as well, so that's going to hurt Chrono JJ very, very big there, and we are seeing him move off this gold mine for the time being. Hippolyta coming over here, which is going to force this Pharaoh away from this location, and if Chrono JJ does react to that. But Mariana won 2 town centers already, picked off 1 Sphinx, and there's no real locations here, apart from maybe here, where the Sphinx can deal real damage. And Chrono JJ has to get something done in terms of this damage, because this gold mine here is absolutely bonkers good for Mariana to deal with a Eclipse Rush, because it's so close, or an Eclipse timing attack on the gold mine, because it's so close to the town center. If Eclipse comes down, he can just retreat into the town center, wait out the Eclipse, and be totally fine. So maybe Chrono JJ is going to have to hit, go for like a Heroic Age behind this, or he's going for a town center here, but I think maybe like a fast Heroic here, Scarab, timing push on this location could be a go here. But it's not what's happening. There's the Theseus coming in, and he's going to be getting that Sphinx attacked again, but the Pharaoh coming over here, going to be able to snipe that Centaur in the back here. Get the priest to attack it. No. Okay, the priest not attacking it. The Theseus coming back in. Immediate counter micro there from Mariana onto the Sphinx to prevent that one from happening. We are seeing the Hippolyta targeting the Pharaoh as well, who's trying to empower this settlement here, as the priest doing some damage as well. And now the Pharaoh going to get sniped here. It's looking like it's going to be super close. The Pharaoh dodging an arrow there with some crazy dance moves that he's got. The priest coming back over here, going to be empowering this town center yet again. The Pharaoh onto the center. Nice micro from Mariana, instantly pulling that one back. Town center is going to be going up though. Both the priest and the Pharaoh did fall down at the end of that one though, and I think Chrono JJ is going to be a little bit strapped for food now. He's got 3 cow, he has a couple of elk left, and there's a deer over here, probably going to be a little bit difficult to be gathering from. Villagers sitting idle in this town center for a very, very long time as well. And Mariana going for a 3rd town center here. And so is Chrono JJ though. So interesting little boom happening here. Both players not really doing too much damage to each other, but losing their myth units in the process. So very happily booming away. And Chrono JJ is going to have to think about a second gold mine situation and also farms. And we see him moving all of these gold villages over onto food here as the Catacopus gets sniped. And the Sphinx is going to move over there as well, as the village is moving on to these deer. And this is a little bit of the, what do you call it? Of basic. It's a little bit of basically inexperience in the game. This unit here is bonkers strong against Egypt. And if your opponent has no units, you want to be using that as much as you can and preventing hunt, preventing gold mines over here, being very, very active with it. While there are Sphinx, you can't really chase the Sphinx around, so you have to kind of put walls up like he's doing and have the Theseus back ready to chase around while Hippolyta is doing some shenanigans. You also have the ceasefire as well to be used if you get into any real hot water. But if I was Mariano in this situation, when my opponent goes 3 town centers, this Hippolyta is moving forward and preventing food from being gathered. He could have even came into this location and prevented these berries from being gathered as well. And Chrono JJ is really in. Well, he's actually going to go straight to the heroic age here. Armor is coming up. He's got the resources, but he's going to run out of food. Just kind of fine here because he can just go straight onto gold wood and make chariot archers, siege towers, Pitsukos here. And you can see how much favor he's got in the bank as well. So it's a lot of Pitsukos. He's going to have 3+ a rock. It can be some pretty brutal raids that can come in here. We do see the Canopic Jar of Imseti getting grabbed here for Chrono JJ. A little bit funny. We've also got the Khopesh of Horus in the top up here to be grabbed, but not. What's he doing with this? Sneaking? What? You sneaking a priest into the corner, or just trying to drop the relic there so he can't find it? I don't know. He's trying to sneak out with the priest. He should be able to get out of there. Mariano might try and snipe it with the villagers, but he has to be eye on the mini-map kind of stuff here if he wants to. He actually is going for the snipe here. And the priest should be able to get a... Whoa, what a ghost building there. That was sick there from Mariano. Nice play there to prevent the relic from being stolen. Nice play indeed. And with some idle villages here, we are seeing Horus as the god of choice here for Chrono JJ. He's a little bit low on the gold of this situation, but he's got 700 food, so he's still going to be able to keep spamming those villagers out. And we do see some army finally in the 10th minute of this game, the 11th minute of this game coming out for Mariano. But I think this map is very, very good so far for Chrono JJ. There's not going to be any timing pushes that can come in, and Mariano is going to be pretty happy as well, to be honest, because he's going to be able to get to the Mythic Age without too many issues here. If I'm Chrono JJ here, I think you got to try and get an early Mythic Age here, go through Horus, cast Tornado here, get out Avengers, and like a rain into Avengers would be pretty bonkers. We just see some Watchtowers coming out here, a little bit over commitment. Has to get Crenellations to make them really that scary as well. We see some walls coming up. He's gonna get pushed off, but he does have this gold mine over here that he can grab as well, so he could have just retreated here instead of the Watchtower, but I guess he just wants to be safe. He does have a Skin of the Rhino, nice economic upgrades for this time in the game as well. But Mariano is very far ahead here, but I don't think it matters at this point, so it's kind of fine so long as Chrono JJ can do some damage with the Locust or something like that. There is the Mythic Age and the Pitsukos coming out. Do we see instant Pitsukos here for Chrono JJ? No, still no Shaft Mine either. I'll just check out the... I can't see the observer commands for him, I don't think. Let's see. Nope. I cannot. I need an observer to be in the game to have the observer commands. Villagers getting picked off for Chrono JJ as he's retreating to eat some of these elk here. Continuing, the farms are up. He's got plow. No plow. That hurts. You hate to see it. Are we sure? Are we sure he's got no plow? He's got Sacred Cats, which is basically, it's half a plow. It's only 10%. It's better to get plowed than Sacred Cats. Oh dearie me. Look at these walls though from Mariano. This is absolutely bonkers. This is so smart. Trying to just throw up walls in every single choke point, and that's going to prevent any sort of raid or movement from Chrono JJ in this game. But there is the rock here and the Pitsukos and this Sphinx doing a lot of work. Where's the Migdol for Chrono JJ? Idle villages everywhere. Was this 20 idle villages at this point? Chrono JJ not paying attention at all to those. Migdol Stronghold is coming up as well. The villager's going to try and run through this gate to try and keep them alive here, which is smart. He's going to come back around the other side on these villages as well. Migdol Stronghold is close to coming up. No market. Does he have a market up? No market here. Villagers still super idle over here. Going to move on to some wood eventually. And Mariano is on his way through to Aphrodite. And this is absolutely perfect for Mariano. Going to be hitting the Mythic Age at about 16 minutes here. Or maybe even 15:30 if he's fast with the market. And there's going to be an earthquake on this land here. This is going to be a gold starve. Don't need to go fastest here. You've got such a big advantage because of how far ahead you are. Chrono JJ, on the other hand, really strapped for gold. Has no gold income right now. Villagers all getting picked off by these Toxotes, even with the Skin of the Rhino. It's just not that good. Villagers moving back over onto this gold mine here. Mariano is also going to have a curse to throw down onto these villagers to pick off even more of them to slow down Chrono JJ if he wants to. Immediate curse coming down. Picks off 5 villagers here plus a chariot archer, and Mariano going to be throwing down that instant market somewhere. Not an instant market, feels bad. Oh, there it is. There's the instant market. 4 villages on it. So it's going to be like that 16-minute advance time to the Mythic Age, and it's going to be very, very difficult for Chrono JJ to deal with it. We do see Pitsukos here, so we need to have a kind of an immediate Atlanta to come out as well to deal with these guys, or anything like that. Theseus here should be enough, plus a Nemean Lion. And the Pitsukos has got 1 HP. It does fall. Pharaoh coming into this location. Chrono JJ trying to mine from this. And we see the walls coming up over here. He's going to cut off this corner, this trade route corner here, going to be cut off from Chrono JJ by Mariano as well. So really nice play from Mariano here. Theseus targeting down the Pitsukos here, trying to pick this one off. Pharaoh onto the Nemean Lion. Has to retreat though when the Toxotes fire back. Going to be trying to snipe Theseus, who does go down to the Migdol Stronghold, fire plus the town center, and those Pharaoh and Priest here. Heavy Hippocon coming in. Artemis is on the way now for Mariano. And this town center has no upgrades except for crenellations, which just basically helps them target those Hippocon a little bit better. And the Migdol Stronghold is going to be able to target them better as well. But that's not going to prevent the Artemis from taking this one down. If we check out Chrono JJ's resources, he's building villages from every town center here, trying to keep them pumping out. Chariot Archers spamming out as well for Chrono JJ. There is a Locust Swarm down onto this location. He's picking off a lot of villages, but I don't know how much that matters here. It's a big Locust Swarm, but Mariano can just rebuild those. He's sitting only at 100 population here. Actually, he's not in as good a position as he might have thought he was in. Lost a lot of units on this attack here, but Heavy Hippocon are huge units in the mid game to be using here. So we'll see. We'll see if he can make this push happen. Mariano is sitting at a very low goal, but back up to 130 population already. Chrono JJ 111, not the best units here to defend. Artemis is going to come in. There is a rain and Eclipse to defend against this. So imagine immediate rain from Chrono JJ. There's the earthquake that beats it. Really, really close there from Chrono JJ, and he's not going to be able to get this one back, I don't think. The Hippocon pushing in onto this location over here as well, as the town center's coming back up, but the Chimera's in here. That was so clutch by Mariano, getting the earthquake just in the nick of time before the rain came down. And Chrono JJ has to retreat, and that town center is going the way of Mariano as the village is moving in there. He's got a ceasefire as well he can use after it if he needs to. We've got trade caravans coming out as well for Mariano, so his economy is going to be gigantic, an extra 20 population, or effective 40 population to play with over what Chrono JJ's got. And Chrono JJ doesn't even have our fortified town centers just yet. Has a lot of resources in the back, no market to go to the Mythic Age. Osiris could be a way forward here if he was on his way there, but just not able to do so. He's hit 85 population with almost 4k resources in the bank, and this is just heartbreaking if you're a Chrono JJ fan, because Mariano just super nice play. And there's the Masons and Sun-Dried Mud Brick queued up in the town center as well. And the Chimera just going to run around causing havoc as Mariano is slowly going to just ease his foot onto Chrono JJ's neck and strangle him out of this game. And there's just nothing that he can do at this point. He's got so many villages queued up in town centers and the like, but it's just... Chimera is coming over here trying to pick up these villages with the spread from the villages. I think that was just the fire breath there. The Pharaoh and the Priest do manage to pick off that one Chimera here, and Mariano now sitting at 160 of 180 population. Still really low resources, but the full villager count, I think, he's got no villagers building. He's still building camel caravans, so it's going to be 80 plus villagers, so he can keep spamming them out and picking off villages over here. We do see a watchtower coming up for Chrono JJ, and he does tap out in this moment at the 18-minute mark. Well played by Mariano with the Artemis timing here. That was just, unfortunately for Chrono JJ, it just felt like some poor macro decisions and not really doing anything with his fast heroic or his heroic age there. He got to the heroic age first. Would have actually preferred to see him go for Sekhmet here and go on and try and pick off this and at least force a ceasefire or something, prevent Mariano from jumping straight to the Mythic Age. Could have been an option. losing those early Sphinx was really, really bad for Chrono JJ as well, because those are a real nuisance. Once you have two of them running around doing their thing, it's really difficult for the Poseidon player to deal with them if they're splitting them up, because they've only got two heroes to defend against them. So, but having lost them, then he could not kind of do that action against Mariano, and Mariano was able to boom happily to the Mythic Age. Beautiful Earthquake beating that Rain there. If Chrono JJ got the Rain through, I think he would have probably been okay, because he could have got Masons out, Sungiant, Mudbrick, and possibly Architects, and also been on the way to the Mythic Age. Even if he loses the Town Center, he gets out his Son of Osiris plus a Mummy, he's able to push back and potentially get that Town Center back in that moment. But just not able to pull it together there, and Mariano gets the first win. Well played. We'll move on to game number 2 very shortly. If you are enjoying these games, please feel free to give us one of those follows on the Twitch or a subscription over on the YouTubes. I do appreciate it. It is totally free, so you have no excuses. See you guys soon.